falling, I'm falling into you.
Yo, what's up guys, and welcome back to Shiki. So after reacting to part 1 of BTS Universe, I thought, it's time for part 2. And we left off exactly where, they all kind of went their own ways because of, all the circumstances, and they separated. So, grab your popcorn or your snacks and let's watch part 2.
Namjoon left for the countryside without telling anyone, but comes back after over a year and lives in a container. Seokjin transferred to a school in Los Angeles without a word. Taehyung's whereabouts were always unknown. Yoongi never showed up after being expelled from school. Jimin never came back to school after going to the hospital. Hoseok was now working a part-time job at a burger joint called 2-Star Burger, and he would sometimes see Jungkook in his school uniform. April 11, year 20.
Alright, so I think episode 1 ended there. We just got, a little bit of a recap so we can see this now.
Seokjin finally came back to Korea after 2 years and 10 months. He drove to a gas station and spotted Namjoon working there. He decided not to say hi and ended up driving away.
No.
May 22, year 22. Seokjin begins to wonder what the other boys were doing now. He decides to go back to the gas station to visit Namjoon, but when he gets there, he finds out Namjoon ended up going to jail.
Oh man. He probably regrets that now. He's like, I should have. It happens a lot. Sometimes when you're in that position, you don't know if you should or if you shouldn't. But let's see.
He got his phone number and went to visit him. Namjoon revealed that he got into jail after getting into a fight with a customer. Hoseok was in the hospital after a bad accident. They didn't know where Taehyung and Jimin were, and that both Jungkook and Yoongi were dead.
Alright. So, it's pretty dark right now. It's not looking so good. But I definitely feel Namjoon on the customers. Because when I was younger, I used to work. And some customers, oh my god, they do not care about you at all. And sometimes, they just think you're an object when, in fact, you're not.
When Seokjin was heading out of the police office, he saw Taehyung outside of the entrance. He was tied up and convicted of murder. Seokjin went back to the beach they visited back in high school and asked himself, where did it all go wrong?
Yeah, this is looking really bad. Jail, deaths, gone in for murder.
Then a voice spoke to him. If you could turn back time, do you believe you can straighten out the errors and mistakes and save everyone?
Let's go.
He woke up and it was April 11 again. He thought it was all a dream and continued his day like nothing happened.
Alright, that's definitely not a dream. It may feel like a dream. Well, it could be a dream. But I'd rather believe that he actually got that second chance. That would be so cool if he actually got a second chance.
He went to the gas station and saw Namjoon, then again decided not to say hi. He began to drive through an alley when a body landed on the hood of his car. He realized it was Jungkook. His heart began to beat fast and everything shattered like a mirror. It was April 11 again.
Okay, alright. Thank God, that was a bad ending. That was definitely a bad ending. We're not here for bad endings.
So he kept thinking everything was a dream, and so the same things would happen again. He went to the gas station and didn't say hi to Namjoon, and this time he's walking down the alley, and then Jungkook's body dropped behind him. Everything shattered, and a voice spoke to him once again. You won't make it out here alone in this entangled destiny. Here's how you remember the loop. And as the voice spoke to him, he began to see fragments of the previous timelines. Then another voice spoke. If you could turn back time, do you believe you could straighten out the errors and mistakes and save everyone?
Alright, so this premise is super, super cool. I love it. And I read a lot of webtoons. And this is something I definitely am going to check out because I am hooked. I had no idea it was going to take this kind of, fork. Wow.
That's when Seokjin finally realized that he's been going back in time. Okay, now things get super complicated during this journey. He begins to find out how each of the boys get in trouble and how they die, but every time he travels back in time, things would change. Because of the butterfly effect, location and time would sometimes change.
Sorry if I'm pausing too much, but this is so true. And can you imagine the pain that he is going through, knowing this by himself, and he can't really explain it to anyone else because he wakes up and he has to do it over again. So he's like taking it all on his own, and he's seeing the deaths of his friends and seeing how, the downfalls and how they get in prison. Oh my God.
Reminder that butterfly effect is a part of the chaos theory that states that one small change in a situation can drastically change the outcome of an event. At this point, we don't know how many times Seokjin had traveled back in time, but he began to realize that he has to learn more about the boys and their struggles in order to help them. He also realizes that he needs the boys to help him, but he does this indirectly. If you want all of the details, I do recommend you starting with the Save Me webtoon and then continue by playing the BTS Universe story game. I did create a summary for the game if you'd like to check that out. Link is in my description box. But I'll be going over each character's tragedies, which is shown during their Save Me webtoon, their reason, which is found in the BTS Universe story game, and the solution, which is found during the Notes 1 and 2 book.
Now this is actually genius. To divide it up into a webtoon, a game, and kind of a book, it's actually genius because it gets us all engaged. Now I'm definitely gonna check out the webtoon and I'll check out the game too. I think the notes exist online. I don't know if you're supposed to pay for it, then I'm gonna have to buy it. Or are they free? I think they're free, maybe. I don't know, but I know that Steven talked to me about it in one of the comments, which I'm gonna go back to and check. But this is actually genius. Wow, I'm loving this.
On April 11, year 22, Namjoon gets into a fight with a customer at the gas station. The customer would get his gas filled, then drop the cash on the ground for Namjoon to pick up. This would cause a fight, and Namjoon would end up in jail. Reason: money has always been a constant source of frustration and misery for Namjoon. He has been working 2 to 3 part-time jobs to pay for his ill father's hospital bills. Because of this, he lived in a container and would sometimes sleep at the gas station's break room. He had to put his love for books aside and hold off on purchases because of his budget.
Now that's actually something that happens in real life. Some people are just that douchey that they would do that. Damn.
That's why he couldn't stomach kneeling down to pick up the money and being insulted over it. Solution: Seokjin lets the whole scene with the rude customer play out, but as soon as the customer drops some money for Namjoon to pick up, Seokjin comes in and grabs it, then hands it to the customer.
Let's go.
This saved Namjoon from getting into a fight and going to jail. Later that night, April 11, year 22, Jungkook would purposely get into fights with thugs on the street, then make his way to the top of a construction building to jump off.
No.
Reason: the boys were his family, and he was no longer in contact with them. He felt like his family didn't care about him and that no one cared about him. Solution: after Seokjin saved Namjoon at the gas station, Namjoon invited him to meet up with Taehyung and Hoseok after work. Seokjin asked about the others, and Namjoon said he didn't really talk to the others anymore, but he does think Hoseok still talked to Yoongi. Seokjin would encourage Namjoon to call Hoseok, and this would cause a domino effect. Namjoon would call Hoseok asking him to invite Yoongi, then Yoongi calls Jungkook before he decides to jump off the construction building. May 2, year 22.
Wait, so he made it, right? He didn't go through with it? That's so cool. And once again, butterfly effect, right?
Yoongi
Him picking up the bills and giving it to him also ended up, setting up the path for him saving.
burns
Taeyang.
himself in either a motel or his workroom.
Oh no.
He also tries on April 29 and May 10 during different timelines because of the butterfly effect. Reason: Yoongi believed that bad things would happen to people he cared about. This caused him to distance himself from the boys, especially Jungkook. Solution: Seokjin realized the last time Yoongi genuinely smiled was when all 7 of the boys were together. He also realized that both Yoongi and Jungkook had the same tinge of desperation in their eyes. Jungkook was the key to saving Yoongi. So this time, instead of Seokjin doing it himself, he had Jungkook visit Yoongi at his workroom.
Alright. Now, I'm just glad that he got the chance to go back because, this is heartbreaking.
This would cause Yoongi to run away and go into the motel. Jungkook would then try to run after him and follow him. Seokjin left a clue in front of the motel Yoongi was in so Jungkook could find him. And that's how Jungkook ends up saving Yoongi from the fire.
Let's go.
May 12, year 22.
Alright, we're almost saving everyone. Couple left.
Jimin drowns himself in the bathtub
Oh, no.
at the hospital. If he didn't take his life while he was in the surgical ward, he would make the same choice days after he returned to the closed ward. Reason:
Wow, that is so cool. I mean, not the fact that he's trying to drown or he's drowning, but the fact that they move on and have it show in a music video and then have it in the book or the game and the story. Everything is connected. I've never seen this happen before. Everything is it's like a long movie.
Jimin believes that he belongs in the hospital. This was his way of running away from the past incident he witnessed at the Flower Laboratorium. He didn't want to make things any more difficult for his mother than they already were. So that's why he took his life. Solution: Seokjin had tried to convince Jimin to leave and also had Taehyung try, but it didn't work. Hoseok is supposed to be the one who could convince Jimin to leave the hospital. May 10, year 22.
Wait, so did he get out? I guess I'll see.
Hoseok falls and hits his head while walking on a bridge. He ended up in the hospital for a checkup. May 12, year 22. Hoseok accidentally falls down the stairs at the hospital and breaks his ankle. Reason:
Oh man. First hitting your head, then your ankle. That's never good.
Hoseok gets a call from the children's home, which is his orphanage, in regards to Kim Jung-hee, the staff who was like a mother to him.
Oh,
She
don't tell
has
me.
colon cancer, and because it was
These guys need a break. They can't catch a break.
who was like a mother to him. She has colon cancer, and because it was in its late stage, surgery had a low chance of success.
Screw cancer, alright.
After finding out this news on May 10, he would collapse on the bridge. As for the accident at the hospital, Hoseok would notice a woman with a long skirt, hat pressed low, with a child. He thought it was his mother, so he followed her down the stairs and ended up falling. Solution: Seokjin figured out that Jimin was the solution to saving Hoseok. Hoseok actually ended up in the same hospital Jimin was at.
Alright,
And
that's
while
good.
Jimin was waiting for an elevator at the hospital, Seokjin called out his name and led him over to the staircase. Jimin saw Hoseok running down the stairs and was able to catch him before he fell. After Hoseok was released from the hospital, he came back with the others. They all worked together to help Jimin and encouraged him to leave the hospital.
Let's go. Let's go.
May 20, year 22. Taehyung would come home to his alcoholic father abusing his older sister. This caused him to grab a bottle, break it open, then stab his father to death. This led up to him going to jail.
Alright, now, what I noticed is each of their backstories, they're not things you're like, oh, it's not possible to happen. A lot of people actually go through tragedy like this. And I pray to God that no one has to deal with, abusive parents, issues with your friends, just school, money. I hope that, we can all just live a good life. And I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to believe in that. Because these things happen in real life and it's so sad.
If he didn't end up in jail, he ended up jumping off the viewing platform by the ocean in front of the boys in a different timeline.
Alright, so I saw this scene from, I think it was a song I reacted to, and they just showed this part. It wasn't related to the song, and I thought it was a sick scene, like a cool scene that I would, he was jumping. But knowing now...
Reason. Taehyung and his sister have been dealing with their alcoholic father for years, and Taehyung was fed up with the violence. As for him jumping off the platform, this happened during a timeline when they stopped him from murdering his father. He was frightened that he would become just like his father because of the recent incident. Solution. Seokjin had personally tried to stop Taehyung but ended up accidentally getting stabbed. So this time around, he had Hoseok give it a try. Hoseok was able to catch Taehyung just in time and stopped him from stabbing his father. As for Taehyung jumping off the platform, Seokjin went up the platform instead.
I think this is a great place to stop for part 2. Kind of went longer than I expected. I'm so into it. Wow. Now, this story has me hooked, alright? I'm definitely gonna read the Save Me webtoon because I gotta check that out. This is on another level. And I really enjoyed watching it. But right now, things got really dark. Like, I'm talking really dark. But, with the time traveling and everything, you can slowly and surely fix it. And how cool would it be if we could actually travel back in time and, reverse some of our decisions? It's kind of cool and it's scary a bit because we have no idea if we change something that we did, how we would, have that butterfly effect, how would it affect everything else. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one and I hope you guys did too. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you tomorrow or the day after. Bye.